Could Cape Town be the next city to join the world's most prestigious marathon club? What does it actually take to become a world marathon major? And is Cape Town Marathon ready to step onto that global stage? Hi, I'm Lucia, and welcome to episode 150 of the Flying Runner podcast. Now, we know for many runners, the Abbott World Marathon Majors represent the pinnacle of the sport. It has iconic races in cities like Boston, London, and Berlin that define bucket list running. But there's been growing conversation around potential new addition, and all eyes have been on South Africa and Cape Town and the Cape Town Marathon, with its incredible scenery, fast-growing reputation, and strong push for global recognition. The big question is no longer if, but when. On this episode, we're diving into what makes a world marathon major and whether Cape Town truly fits the bill. We'll explore its strengths, and the challenges it still faces, and what this could mean for runners all around the world, whether you're chasing all the majors or simply love the idea of discovering new races. This is a conversation about the future of marathon running and a race that might just be on the brink of something big. As you know, we love running and sharing our adventures of running around the world. We are the only podcast with 5 7-star world marathon major runners. And this is a Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me.
Welcome back. Now, before we get into the crux of the episode talking about Cape Town, that was run just yesterday. So for our listeners, if you're new here, what's taking you so long? But just for reference, we record the episode on a Monday. It drops on a Friday, and Cape Town was run Sunday. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts of the week. We've got Team Ellis, Tara and Tim, and of course, Tony. Now, guys, how was your week? We're going to start with Tony because Tony has a update for us on his knee.
Yes, well, as most of our regular listeners would know, I went in on Friday for an arthroscope on the knee and a bit of a tidy up of the torn meniscus. And according to my surgeon, everything's gone well. I've been sitting at home, not doing much for the last 3 days. I took today off work just to keep the knee iced. But yeah, it's feeling okay, and I'm ready to go back to work and start just walking normally, I guess. But yeah, really weird experience coming out of any sort of anesthesia. You sort of 1 minute you're in a surgical theatre, and the next minute you're waking up with all these other weird people around you, all looking like they've just woken up in no man's land. But yeah, really glad it's over, and now it's just being patient with it, and hopefully in about 6 weeks I might start running.
And has Sharon been a good nurse, Tony?
I am amazingly good. And my life wouldn't be worth living if I didn't say that. She's been very patient, and I'm not I wouldn't call myself a demanding patient. As you know, I set myself up in bed. I had my laptop there so I could do some things. I got the TV on, so I had lots of lollies that kept me going. So it was all good.
And Team Ellis, what did you guys get up to?
Tara?
Okay, fair enough. So I've done very little during the week. I did a treadmill run, and Saturday we just took it easy at Park Run. We ran Mitchelton Park Run, took it easy. And Sunday we did a longish run, so it was 25 Ks, probably the fastest I've run for a while for my 25K training block. Didn't plan on that, just sort of went by feel. Didn't really look at the watch too much. It was extremely windy, so I'm surprised that it happened as much as it did, because where we run is always like resistance training at the best of times, but add a little bit of wind to it and it's even worse. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a really good week. Both of us recovering from GC30 the week prior. Tara's probably been a little bit self-conscious there, but she's had a bit of a head cold over the last few days as well. So to get out and run on Sunday and to hit some fast times was really good, especially given how she's been feeling. So, yeah, all up, generally pretty good week for Team Ellis as we get to, what are we now, 6 weeks short of Gold Coast weekend, I think we are.
Let's not talk about how far we are from Goldie. So I was in Melbourne for a few days. I love running in Melbourne. There's just so, like, if you stay in the CBD, so many options. One day I did a loop of the 10 and some extra, but then for my long run had to do 14 Ks, ran from my hotel to Albert Park, did a bit of Albert Park and then ran back. I love running in Melbourne. So it was very good weekend. Now, as hopefully our listeners know, I am a ambassador for the Sydney Marathon, and being an ambassador, my job never stops. So, and the guys don't know what I'm about to say here. I can see Tony thinking, oh God, what is she going to come out with this time? So I'm on the train on the way home, sitting next to these two guys, and this one guy, he's like, oh yeah, I really want to run Sydney, but I don't have an entry. I know a friend who has a friend who's in the UK. He has an entry, so he's not going to run it. So I'm just going to take his entry. So me being the ambassador, being the good ambassador that I am, I'm like, look, guys, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but I'm actually an ambassador for Sydney, and you can't do that. If you call, you're going to get banned because everyone has to pick up their own entry. You've got to show ID. He goes, so no chance. I said, no chance. I said, if you're caught, you're going to be banned for life. So I was being an ambassador doesn't stop. So just remember, guys, you can't run under someone else's name, because if you're caught, you're going to be banned for life. So I was quite proud of that today. And I told the fellow ambassadors in our chat, and everyone's just laughing. They're like, Leach, it can only happen to you. I'm like, oh, do I let it go? Do I say something? I'm like, no, I'm going to do the good thing and say something. So, Tony, any feedback? Have we had anything from our UK correspondent lately?
No, it's been a bit of a quiet week with feedback coming in direct to us. So, but feedback from Trust the Taper, which released today on all streaming platforms, has been pretty good so far. Looking at the number of streams that are happening, people seem to be at least listening to it for a little bit. So yeah.
Trust the taper, trust the plan. You've done the work, you understand. It's not about the miles you chase, what you give your body in this space. Active rest, let it repair, breathing in, release.
So yeah, but there's been no viewer feedback this week, apart from a guy who said he was eating a pizza before a half marathon, but I didn't know if that was really relevant. So
there's nothing wrong with that. Well, guys, it's that time of the week where we talk trivia. So I'm going to hand it over to Tara to give us her first clue of the trivia tonight. Tara?
Okay, so this is a little bit of a different one for us this week. It's a thing. These are typically used more along the course in a road race than in trail runs, except at the finish line.
Typically used on a road race more than a trail race, except at the finish line.
Both of them have it at the finish line.
Now, can I just ask, does Tim know?
No.
No.
Oh, yay.
Is it bananas?
No. Everyone eats bananas on trail runs. My goodness. That's a staple food.
Don't you eat trail mix on a trail run?
Sure, Tim.
I've got an idea, but I want to wait for a clue. Well, sorry, I'm going to wait for the next clue.
Okay.
Well, Tara, you've got us intrigued, so we'll have to wait for our next one. I think it's time we go to the news now. Tim, what's been happening around the world this week?
Well, apart from celebrating our 150th show, which we're keeping low key at the moment, I don't know why, but anyway, we are. There's some other news that's happening that's probably more important than our 150th episode. The first bit of news is about a young gentleman called Sam Flannery, and I'm not sure, guys, if you saw this, but over the last week or so, he's run a marathon or walked a marathon or shuffled a marathon whilst pulling a car. The car weighed 1,300 kilograms. And he was able to pull the car the entire 42.2 kilometre distance. Now, why was he doing this? He's not silly. He was doing it to raise awareness for a charity, and it's called You're Not Alone Australia charity, which is a Brisbane-based youth mental health charity. And it has a goal to raise over $100,000 to support youth mental health. Obviously, there's been demand in how he paced and the strategy put in place because it's such a physical activity, not just walking or shuffling, but also pulling the car along as well. Now, we undertook this challenge at Willowbank Raceway here in Queensland. He got great support from the local community, and it's a reminder to show what's possible when purpose, perseverance, and passion come together. How long do you reckon it would take, and without reading the notes there, guys, how long do you reckon it would take to pull a car 42.2 kilometres? And when I say a car, a 1.3 tonne car or 1,300 kilogram car.
Okay, so if he was going to walk it, okay, I'm just working backwards. If he was going to walk it, when I walked Sydney, that was just over 7 hours. So I'm going to say at least 10, 11 hours.
No, less than that.
It'll be a couple of days.
No, less than that. He was able to pull a 1,300 kilogram car, 42.2 kilometres, in 7 hours, 36 minutes, and 42 seconds. And it is the fastest anyone has ever pulled a 1.3 tonne car over the marathon distance. I would imagine he's probably the only guy that's done it. Now, did he hit his target? No, he hasn't hit his target. I checked his GoFundMe page on the weekend. He's well short of his $100,000 target. He's raised $20,000 so far. The page is still open and donations are still out there. So all you have to do is search for Sam Flannery carpool and you'll find his thing there. Now, guys, I know how much my quads and my back and my hammies and my calves all hurt after a marathon. I couldn't imagine what it's like to pull a car around a racetrack for 42.2 kilometres. Which one of you guys are going to do it?
Hell to the no. Credit to him for attempting it, but no, I've got limits.
It might be a good comeback one for you, Tony, with your knee.
Yeah, no. And full credit to him, you know, I just wonder, I mean, obviously pulling a car for 42.2 kilometres is a way to get some exposure for the charity and for the funds that you're raising. But I just wonder, where does it stop? You know, I mean, if that's what it takes to get clips on the news, it just worries me. But I mean, full credit to Sam, but there's no way in the world I'd ever be considering doing something like that. So,
no, it's pretty crazy. Now, I know the episode is all about Cape Town, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it, but I'm just going to go through the results from over the weekend. It was a historic men's win in Kenya. Not in Kenya, in Cape Town over the weekend. Ethiopia's Mohamed Esa took out the race in 2 hours and 4 minutes and 55 seconds, and he smashed the course record by over 3 minutes, setting the fastest marathon ever run on African soil. The men's race was incredibly deep, and all top 10 ran inside the previous course record, with Adane and Lomwe also coming in second and third. It was a clean sweep for the women from Ethiopia, who dominated the women's race, with Dera Dida winning in 2 hours, 23 and 18 seconds, ahead of Mestawat Fikir and Wagneresh Amari in the full Ethiopian podium. In addition to that, we saw Eliud Kipchoge, who ran his first ever marathon on African soil. I should say first ever race marathon African soil. He finished in 16th place officially, coming in 2 hours, 13 and 29 seconds as part of his new Global World Tour campaign. Interestingly, he came second in his age group. I bet she doesn't like that. But anyway, in the wheelchair, records fell. Britain's David Weir won the course for the men's wheelchair, and Switzerland's Manuela Shah also won the women's course, and both of them broke course records in a dominant win. And I guess the feel-good news story from the weekend, Eliud Kipchoge's wife, Grace Sagut, completed her first ever marathon in Cape Town. She paced it perfectly in coming in at 4 hours, 29 minutes and 59 seconds, with Kipchoge running alongside it in the finish to help her get over the line in quite an emotional moment. Some other news as well. Jen Kellett, who we've had on the program and we've talked about numerous times, came second in her age group for the World Marathon Age Championships, which was fantastic effort by Jen. I know she struggled with a foot injury. She's in the 70-plus women's category, and that was her third marathon in 3 months, running Tokyo, Boston, and now Cape Town. So it's probably an indicator, having a bit of a sore foot there, that it's time for Jen to have a bit of a rest after such a taxing few months. But well done, Jen. I know we're going to talk about Cape Town shortly, but from all reports, guys, the conditions were great. The crowds were awesome. The course seemed a little bit toughish, and there was a particular hill that I heard at around 32 kilometres into the race, which caused a bit of grief for the runners. But overall, from what I heard, it was quite a positive weekend in Cape Town. So that's all I've got this week, guys, and we'll talk more about Cape Town shortly. So that's the news this week. Back to you, Lucia.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. So just before we get on to the main topic, which is Cape Town, Tara's going to give us her next clue for Tara's trivia.
Excellent. Let's see if you can get this one, Lucia. So there are several ways that it can be activated, and runners wear the thing that activates them in different ways, depending on the run they are doing.
Okay, so that it discounts my first thought. I thought a wheelchair.
Yeah, no, not
because
a wheelchair.
it's both at the finish.
Not a wheelchair.
I don't know. A go-go rocket booster. I don't know.
Can you repeat that last clue again? Sorry, Tara.
So there are several ways that this thing can be activated, or these things can be activated. Runners wear this thing or things that activates them in different ways depending upon the run they are doing.
Tony
Is it a
seems to
medal?
know.
Tony looks like he may have an idea.
I do, but I won't spoil it. So
Thank you.
I'm going to go medal. I'm going to spoil it. Medal? Oh, okay, there we go.
You get medals in trail running?
Yeah, they don't activate though.
No.
Oh, God, you got me good tonight, Tara. Okay, before I start thinking of any more random ones, let's turn our focus to our topic of discussion for tonight, which is Cape Town. So, guys, as we've done in the past couple of weeks, we're just going to keep it light and conversational, and I'll be asking a few questions as we go. So the first part's going to be about now. So we know that Cape Town has been building momentum for a few years, and this weekend is no different. From what we've all seen on socials, what's everyone's first impression of the event? So, Tim, you mentioned the atmosphere and the crowd support, but anything else which has really stood out to you guys? And does it feel like a major? Tony?
Yeah, it does. The stuff I've seen so far on the socials and in the media is it seems to have felt like a major in a sense, without being a major. The expo seemed to have hit the right marks with people. There was plenty of merchandise. It was in a big area. The race day experience seemed really good. The crowds were huge. I heard some reports the crowds were a lot bigger than Sydney. So, yeah, the general feeling and general thoughts I've got and what I've heard seem to be largely positive. And I've probably got about 10 people over there that I know that have run it or were there over the weekend, and they have all been very positive about it. So I haven't heard anything negative. I don't know about you guys.
The only thing that I have heard is that the goodie bag pickup, there was a little bit of a mix up there, and Cape Town actually, the organisers actually sent out an email to say that this is not what they thought would be happening, and they did actually try to rectify that very quickly. And Tony probably knows a bit more about that than I do, so he can no.
I just want to back Tim up. I'm the thing that was noticeable for me was that the World Major Challenge Facebook group, Robert Wang, was dominated by Cape Town, right? So, but apart from that, I didn't see a great deal through any of my Instagram feeds. So maybe the algorithm just didn't pick it up that I was interested in it. But I think generally positive. I mean, there were some stories about personal safety. There was a person that got scammed at the airport that's now doing the rounds. So, I mean, there were some challenges. I think a lot of people talked about the race itself being a really vibrant experience, but tougher than expected. So, but I think generally positive experience for most of the population that went over there.
And Tony, funny you should mention the bit of, sorry, not funny, but quite interesting that you mentioned the bit about people being attacked because, and that, like, and the fear that's put into people, but it's no different to other cities. So like, for instance, London, they're known for mobile phones getting stolen all the time in the city centre. It's no different to any other major city in which marathons are held or anywhere. I just think that some people are trying to pick on one thing, but that possibly they may not have travelled as extensively as others. So it's interesting how some people have highlighted about the crime issues when, hey, let's face it, happens everywhere, doesn't it?
There was a story, and I take your point there, Lucia, absolutely. You've got to be safe wherever you travel, and you've got to understand the locality of where you're at. But there was a story that's doing the rounds now where a person, while running the race, got an alert from their bank that their credit card was being used. So that person was able to lock it down, but it was because they're obviously a local and they'd left their car somewhere, and the car had been, the new things where they do the magic zap and the car just opens. So it's interesting how I've never seen people talking about bad, unsafe experiences at any of the other events. So no doubt it happens. People just don't talk about it. So.
Yeah, I've not been to South Africa, but I've been to other countries in the world which have high crime rates. And yes, literally, crime happens in all cities around the world. I think, though, there is a higher prevalence of it, and the severity of some of those crimes is a lot worse in South Africa. So it requires a higher level of alertness from people. And I think part of it was, and some of the feeds I saw, were a lot of people going over there expecting it to be like their home countries. They're not thinking. They're walking around with their mobile phone in their hand. They've put it down on a table while they're eating, and it becomes opportunistic for snatchers and people like that. Deliberately trying to isolate people, and that's one of the stories I saw where their wife was isolated from them by a team of people who were working around trying to get them and get their phone. So yes, it happens. It happens all around the world, but I think there is a higher level of risk in South Africa. But again, like anywhere, you need to be alert. You're not at home anymore. You're in a different country. You need a higher alertness. You need a higher level of awareness of what's going on around you at all times. But I don't necessarily think the weekend should be spoiled because of that. It is one of the risks that everyone knew when South Africa was awarded this, that it's not exactly the safest country to be in. But at the same time, there are safe areas. And if you're smart and you know where you're going and you follow the rules of how you get around in those countries, then you're okay.
In saying that, if you go to Paris, you can. Yeah. In Paris, they work exactly the same way, where they actually accost you and separate you out. So it doesn't matter which city or country you're in, you should just always be on alert. I wouldn't single out South Africa as a more dangerous country than any other country. I've been to Cape Town myself. I've walked around Cape Town without any issues. I was on high alert at all times, but I'm on high alert every place I go to in any country in the world, because I know that I'm not in my normal home country where I've got that safety and the security. Here in Australia, you get the same thing, where you can be walking around with your mobile phone in your hand and somebody walks along and swipes it and it's gone. So it's just a case of being alert to your surroundings at all times.
Yeah.
And I was just having a look on the Travelling Fit Facebook page. They've just posted some photos. They've got a cracking photo of Kipchoge mid-race. So they must have had a really good viewing spot. I'm going to wait until I get the notification from Travelling Fit to say packages for 2027 are open, and I'll be paying my deposit. That's for sure. Now, what I want to get your guys' thoughts on next is what makes a world major? And do we think, from what we've seen, do we think has Cape Town done enough? So did they have good numbers of elites being there? Did they have the right numbers? Do you think it's got the global appeal? Tara, I might start with you this time on this one.
I think having Eliud Kipchoge there was a huge draw card. I think having his wife run her first marathon in the same time that I run my first marathon, just wanting to let everybody know that I'm equal with Eliud Kipchoge's wife, the first marathon basis. But no, I think in all honesty, everything I've heard, it went brilliantly. I think I have heard that the numbers may not have been to the correct numbers, unfortunately. So I think they were aiming for over 20,000 or something like that. The numbers keep revising every time I look at it. One time I looked at it, it was 18,000. Last time I looked at it, it was 12,000, I think. And another time it was 14,000. So the numbers keep varying. So until we get final numbers onto how many people actually completed the course, I think there was supposed to be 27,000 starters. So I don't know what the actual finish numbers were. I don't know if that's been released as of yet. The food, though, looking at Terry Frew, who is one of our past guests on the show, looking at the food on course, it looked like a smorgasbord or a buffet that you were getting fed. So they have got, it looked like the on-course support and aid stations were amazing, looking at his photos and videos.
And they had Coke on course.
Oh,
there's a reason.
That's Tony signed up for next year.
I was going to say, Tony's already put his deposit down without even knowing about it.
And Tim, your thoughts?
I think it was good. Yeah, everything I've seen, everything looks fantastic. I think Kipchoge does add the extra little sparkle to it. So, yeah, nothing much more to add there.
I think the only thing which... Oh, sorry, Tony.
I think the numbers are interesting as Tara talks about. It's 18,849 or something at the moment. But you go in and you actually look at the official results, and it's really weird. I don't know if they've been fully supported by their timing people, but there's like 100 odd pages of people that with the DNF beside their name, but some of them also have finish times. So it's really weird how they're looking at these final finishes. But yeah, I think the word is they needed to get 20,000. And based on what you see in the app, they're not there. But then you look at their official results, and some of these DNF people, like one of them had a time of 2 hours 37, and he's listed as a DNF. So it's really weird. I think they've been let down by their technology partner.
And I think the other issue, and this next thing that I want to ask you guys about, it's not necessarily just relating to Cape Town, but to all majors and probably even more marathons, is actually the broadcast. Because was anyone able to watch it live? It's one thing that the majors don't do well is to broadcast the marathons live on a reliable platform, because you can always find some kind of dodgy link from a country that God knows where they got it from. But did you guys see anywhere advertised in which you could watch it?
Yeah, it was on the app. You could click on the app and it said watch on YouTube. You got a full live stream. So it was one of the things they did really, really well. So
okay, kudos to Cape Town then.
The first time I'd ever seen that view on YouTube. So it was awesome. So not that I watched it all.
It will change when they become a major. Flow Track will get in there and buy it all up.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think separates a great marathon from a major? Like, do you think that Cape Town, based on what we've seen this year, is a great marathon? And does it have the capability to become a major?
Definitely. I think with the crowd support and the amount of people that went over there on the hope of getting an 8th star, I think they should be able to do that. Cape Town is very fickle with its weather, but so is a lot of other places. But being so close to that coastline, it is absolutely stunning. Like, it's an absolutely stunning place to go to, with the surrounding areas as well, like Stellenbosch and Cape of Good Hope and all of the rest of the areas that you can travel to quite easily. So I think the draw card on that side of things with the scenery and all that, I think absolutely. With the organisational skills that they had this year, they learnt a lot from last year. Even though it didn't go ahead, I think it was a really good trial for them, just for that pre-prep. And to see it actually be completed this year was nice for the organisers for Cape Town.
I think they might have been worried the week before because they had gale force winds the weekend before. And so they were probably going, oh, no, not again. But yeah, from all reports, a very well run marathon. People have talked about the experience as being really positive. The expo was great. So has it got the runs on the board to become a major? My gut feel is that it's going to be announced anyway. But yeah, it's it promises to be the 8th star.
And the jacket did look nice.
So yeah, the jacket did look nice, but I think it's inevitable. It's, they basically all but said last year that it would become a major, but they had to go through and see how they operated on race day with a bigger field. They've had a world age group marathon championship run yesterday in there, so they had a lot more international runners there and a bigger fields, and I think they've probably showed enough to be able to become that 8th star. I guess the question we all have is, when will it be announced? Will it be a very quick turnaround with their assessment, or will they take some time? Will they wait till the end of the year in November to announce it? I think that's probably too late for a May marathon. I would argue that the next major in the cycle is Sydney in 99 days. I think it is, Lucia, 99 days from now till Sydney Marathon. Or it might be 98. I just saw the 100-day celebration the other day come up on my feed. So I would imagine that gives them enough time, 99 days, 100 days, to assess it, to make their final recommendations. And I think they'll announce it in Sydney that that Cape Town is a go. That gives them 12 months or just under 12 months to really get everything booked in, people's organised and entries allocated. So I think that's the way to do it. It has the appeal. It's got room to grow on the course. It seemed like yesterday it was very much just a mass start from what I could tell. Whilst they had waves, I don't think the waves were waiting any particular long periods of time or anything like that. And obviously there's probably room there for them to grow and have extra people on the course. So the app was pretty good, following it on the app. And as I said earlier on, by all reports, the expo felt like a major expo. It even had the world record shoe there on a scale as one of the photos I saw. So 97.7 grams. So
yeah, just to back up with the waves. Wheelchairs went off at 10 to 8, the elites went off at 8, and then the final wave goes at 9. So it seems like it's a bit like a Chicago thing, where you've got your staggered starts, but it's all over and done within an hour. So.
And in all honesty, with all majors, there is teething issues. Like, you look at Tokyo, they're still having teething issues. They've been around as a major now for several years. Sydney, on their candidacy race year, had many teething issues. And even last year when we ran it, still had teething issues. It's inevitable for new races when they're stepping up the game from a normal race to a world major marathon race. They've got a lot to learn. And I think from all reports, Cape Town have learnt a lot from the previous year. And there will be teething issues for the next few years going ahead until they've got themselves sorted.
Yep. Boston's been going for 130 years. Boston's been going for 130 years and still can't get the timing right for when the race ends. And the cutoff. Even this year they delayed the cutoff. So you just don't know. They all have issues.
Maybe they all need to go to New York and talk to the road runners over there because they do a good race. Apart from the finish line, you've got to go through Central Park.
The course looks really tough, right? So,
Yeah.
and you look at the website and they've got the course profile there, but the one thing that stuck out is they've got like they've got a summary. So total uphill running in the race is 21 kilometers. Total downhill running is 20 kilometers. And then flat running is for a kilometer. So you're running uphill. Tim would love that. For 21, and that's a cumulative thing, right? So it's an undulating course like this. But for 21 kilometers of the marathon, you're actually on an uphill slog. And then for 20 kilometers, you're on a downhill slog. It's that looks tough. So no wonder
So
you
we're all-
struggle. Sorry?
Did you see the profile of it though?
Yeah, the profile's undulating. It's all rolling.
Yeah, and it's some steep hills in there. So the one thing I noticed and the one thing I heard from a number of people was you probably can't see it on there,
Can't see it.
32 Ks has this one very steep section on it, which occurs, it seems to occur over a short period of time. Now, whilst it seems steep, it's like 1 kilometer of lateral versus 40 meters of elevation. So it's up, but then it's straight back down again, and then it goes straight back up and down. So I think from what I heard last night and from the people that were there, that was the bit that got them, and they're starting to fatigue and tire out with 10 Ks to go. You just hit this one last hill that just knocks you about.
Hmm.
And then people were complaining about Sydney.
Well, Sydney's got more elevation.
I reckon this is the toughest course looking at it. So it's going to be right up there anyway. So I think a lot of people, and it got humid during the day yesterday, so there was a lot of people that struggled. And because when you hear about, it's a net zero course, which it almost is. You know, it's you tend to think it's flat, but absolutely not. You're going up and down the whole way. And total descent 209 meters, total ascent is 215 meters. My God, it's going to be a tough one.
So I'm just going to do a quick fire round before I move on to the next one. So when does everyone think, well, Tim's already said when he thinks it will be announced, but when will Cape Town be announced as a major? Tony?
I think in 2 weeks.
Tara?
Yeah, I'm with Tony. I reckon it'll be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think as
They
much
need
as
to
it'd be
do it to
great.
make sure everyone's got. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they need to just make sure that everyone's got their plans in place for next year, and the more people that sign up for it in advance, yeah, I think it'll be sooner rather than later.
I agree. As much as it would be great to have it announced in Sydney, but if Sydney was closer, probably. But I think in the next couple of weeks we'll know. So hopefully by then Travelling Fit will have their packages out, and I would have paid my deposit because, even though I said I wasn't going to do it, but decided I want to be in the first group of Aussies to get all 9 stars. I don't know if I do it to myself sometimes.
I did see someone posting that it's likely to be June 11. I don't know what the relevance is of June 11, but, it remains to be seen whether that's right or wrong, but it'll be interesting. Some people seem to know.
Sydney.
Now, you reckon, Tim? I don't think they'll wait that long.
I don't think it's only going to give them 9 months. I don't think that's long enough. So
I don't think it is either.
Jim.
Maybe we're all just
Sydney,
hopeful because we want to just pay our deposits and get it done.
Sydney was advised in November for an August race.
End of August race.
But I think Sydney as a race was more mature than Cape Town.
I don't know. Cape Town's been around for a while.
We will find out.
Yeah, viewers, let us know. When will Cape Town get announced, and who are you guys aligning with? Are you aligning with Tim or the rest of us? So let us know.
You'll be disappointed in 2 weeks.
I'm not saying 2 weeks. I just say it's going to be sooner rather than later. I think Sydney is too far away.
Agree. So, which kind of brings me on to my next question. So, kind of a bit more personal now. So, I think, would you guys run Cape Town I'm not going to say if, but when it becomes a major. Tony?
Yeah, I've expressed interest already with Travelling Fit. So if it's announced next year, likely that we would go, I would imagine. So so we can keep saying that we're the only podcast with all 8-star marathon. See,
maybe Tim and I aren't going to do it. Maybe Tim and I aren't going to do it.
The peer pressure becomes, well, we can't be then saying we're the only podcast with 3 8 stars and 2 7 stars, right?
Is Peter going to be doing it? We're going to find out next week when she comes back.
I think Peter would get FOMO if she didn't do it.
Yep. And in all honesty, I love South Africa, having been there personally myself. So I want to go back in a heartbeat, and I want to take Tim to show him. So to me, it's a definite yes for us. Whether Tim wants to or not, he's coming.
Oh,
yeah. I'll drag Tara around the 42 kilometres of up, 21 k's of up, and 20 k's of down. So that's easy to do.
And we know, I've said that I want to do it, but here's a question. So most of us are planning our adventures for 2027. Where does Cape Town sit in that? Like, will you only do it next year if it becomes a major, or will you, if it does become a major next year, will you wait till 28 or something? Team Alice?
No, we'll do it next year. We have no other overseas trips planned for next year at this stage. So,
or else we'll do the big 5. We could do the big 5.
Big 5, or if it's not a major and we don't do it next year, and because it's not a major, then we'll look at doing big 5 or something else. But at this stage, all signs are pointing to yes, it will be a major, and as a result, we will be putting our hands up to be there. We don't aspire to be the first ones to get our hands on an 8-star and ultimately a 9-star. But it just works in nicely for us. We don't have any other travel booked for next year. So
we just like traveling, to be honest.
Yeah, we can't be the flying runner if we don't fly anywhere to run.
And I've got to have a reason to go to work in the mornings. The only reason I go to work in the mornings is to go, I'm only doing this to pay for the next holiday. So I've got to remember my why.
So we've kind of answered the next one. If it gets announced, are we all going to be booking it straight away? I know I will be.
We're already on the priority list for Travelling Fit for it.
Yeah, I'd say Travelling Fit. Like, put me on the priority list for Cape Town and Shanghai.
Well, Shanghai's supposed to be next year, isn't it?
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Shanghai.
I won't be doing Shanghai next year.
Oh, no. If it gets announced, I will be.
There you go.
God, then how would we do the intro for that? We're the only podcast with 4 7-star. No,
I think Tony's been over.
We'll have to change all the intros around and everything else. Oh, geez. Gets too confusing.
Maybe we'll just have to do Shanghai if it gets announced. Let's wait and see what happens with Cape Town before we worry about Shanghai.
Let's just see what's going to happen. Yeah.
Let's just wait till Sydney when they announce it.
Oh, no. No, it's going to be earlier than that. They're not going to wait that long. But sorry, one more question I want to ask before I wrap this part up. What would excite you guys most about racing in Cape Town? Tony?
To be able to go to an African safari type thing. I think that's the most exciting thing. So to be honest, I'm not overly excited about running Cape Town, to be honest, to be brutally honest, and I would only do it if it's a major. But it seems that there's a lot of things that you can do. There's, I've never been out on a safari. I've never done those sorts of things. So that would probably be the most exciting thing that I'd be looking forward to.
And Tim?
Oh, there's lots of things you could do. But the exciting bit for me is I've seen some of the photos that our mate Terry's taken and a few other people have taken from on course, and the views of Tabletop Mountain through the course just look spectacular. The views overlooking the ocean as you're running as well in some parts. The crowds, the people, the singing, the African singing that I've seen and dancing. Seems like it's a bit of a party at the starting corral with all the locals all starting to sing move in sort of one sort of continuous dance as they're moving their way forward to the start line. The crowds were huge and spectacular, running in a different country, running in a different continent. I've never run a marathon in Africa, so that ticks off another continent for us. So, yeah, all those things are exciting. And then, yeah, the wine areas, go out to Robben Island where they imprison Nelson Mandela, do a shark dive as well. A great white shark dive would be fantastic, wouldn't it, Tara?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And the people and the culture, when you get out of the major cities, it's a completely different feel to the major cities. So anyone that's listening, definitely go down to Stellenbosch and Cape of Good Hope. It's very close to Cape Town. But if you get a chance, you go up to somewhere like Kruger National Park and you get out to the Drakensberg Mountains, and the smell, the people, the culture, you're getting the real Africa there. And when I came back last time and I was telling Tim about the food that I was eating, and he's like, what? How did you get to eat that sort of food? It's part of their culture and it's amazing. Like, don't turn your nose up at anything that you get offered because it is divine. It's the bride, just everything. I can honestly say there's something about Africa when you go over there that gets into your blood and you just want to go back again.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, for me, being able to run in a new city, a city that I never would have thought of, I would go, and to tick off another country is going to be amazing. So can't wait for the announcement to come out shortly that it's a major. So last one, just to wrap up this segment. Now I'm going to go around to each of you. I want one-word answers. So for this one, yes or no. Is Cape Town major ready? Tony. One word.
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
That wasn't one of the
maybe
answers, Tim.
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer without us actually being there. And yeah, it looks like it's a yes. So
yeah,
what Tony says, I don't think makes a lot of difference to the world.
And listeners, let us know, will you run Cape Town if it becomes a major? If so, when would you run it? Would you run it next year, or would you wait a few years to see how the race develops and it fine tunes a lot of things? So hopefully you guys have learned a bit about Cape Town and what our thoughts are, and hopefully it will help you make an informed decision. Now, Tara, just before we jump into Tony's tip for tonight, because we are mixing it up a bit tonight, what's your final clue? Because I'm stuck.
All right. So Tony, I think, has got this one, but this is an electronic thing that senses your checkpoints and your times.
Oh, timing mats.
Yeah, we're talking timing mats. Yeah.
Timing mats.
I was going to say
on the second one.
Yeah, I was going to say something around safety pins after your second one, because I figured that's the thing that we wear that activate the timing mat. So,
yes,
but I didn't.
But everyone wears it differently. Some runners wear it around their ankles, depending on which sort of race you're wearing. Some of it's on their bib. Remember Berlin, we had it on our shoes. And Tokyo, we had it on our shoes. Triathletes have it wrapped around their their ankle. Sorry. So.
Yep.
Yes.
Some people wear it around their back. Some people wear it on their front, even though it all clearly says to wear on the front. People still wear it on their back.
And
some
trail
people
runs,
wear it
on the front finish line, start and finish line.
Some people wear it on their shorts so they can take their shirt off and run without a shirt on, which I just find weird. But anyway,
it's just weird. Well, Tara, thank you very much. That one really had me stumped. So thank you. So now it's the time for Tony to give us his tip of the week.
Here's Tony's tip, take it or leave it. Some days you run, some days you breathe in. I've tried it wrong, I've tried it late, still cross that line at my own pace. Here's Tony's tip, no finished trick, just something I needed when I needed it.
Tony, what's your tip for the week?
Well, it's going to be a pretty simple one, to be honest. It's about to be safe while you're traveling overseas, and Cape Town probably brought that to the fore. But as we've talked about, it can be any city that you're not from. So, and I think Tara talked about being on high alert, and I think there's always the case that wherever you're traveling, whether it's London, Paris, any of the European cities, any city in America, you do need to be cautious. You do need to be on high alert. There's some good safety tips. Usually if someone comes up to you in the airport and offers you a ride into the city, it's usually a scam. So stay with the acknowledged transport routes, the Ubers, the city taxis, etc., etc. If you are staying with a group and you are going out, especially of a nighttime, it's good to stay within that group and not necessarily venture out by yourself. Find out from the hotel that you're staying at, are there any areas that you probably may want to avoid? Usually your hotels will give you some really good advice on places to see, things to do, but also places not to go. But a really good one, and I saw this in one of the groups, connect with local runners at the city that you're going to. Connect with some local groups and find out through them just on places to run, places to be safe. So whenever you're traveling overseas, just be on high alert and be cautious. It's not like your home city. It's not like your hometown. And you never know what dangers are lurking around the next corner. And that's my tip for the week.
Thank you very much, Tony. Now, guys, the episode's about to end. But before we do that, Tara, what's on for next week?
Thanks, Lucia. So for next week on the Flying Runner podcast, we're incredibly excited to welcome Karen Harvey. Karen is an author, an athlete, and a truly inspiring human. With the release of her powerful memoir, Mostly Ups, coming out in July, Karen's story begins with a moment that would change everything. What seemed like a minor bike accident quickly turned into a life or death battle as she was struck by a flesh-eating bacterial infection and given just a 5% chance of survival. What followed were hours of emergency surgeries, heart-stopping moments for her loved ones, and ultimately the loss of her right arm and shoulder. A reality she had to wake up to and somehow begin to process. In this episode, we explore how Karen rebuilt her life from that point forward. Not just learning to live again, but choosing to truly thrive. Refusing to be defined by her circumstances, she forged a new path filled with purpose and going on to represent Australia as a para-triathlete, run marathons around the world, and dedicate her life to helping others push beyond their own perceived limits. Her story, captured in Mostly Ups, is raw, honest, and deeply inspiring, a reminder of the power of grit, determination, and choosing possibility over limitation, even when life delivers its toughest challenges. As we keep saying, we are the only podcast with 5 7-star world major marathoners, and as usual, it will be another great episode and definitely one not to be missed.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tara. Guys, that's it for this week's show. As usual, it's been another fun one. And listeners, we hope we've given you a laugh or two along the way. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. So why not contact us with a message on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com and tell us your thoughts, including when you think Cape Town's going to be announced as a major. We love getting feedback and we'll reply to most messages in a very timely manner. If you were in Cape Town last week, why not get in touch and let us know about your experiences there, any insider tips? We'd love to hear it. You can watch this episode on Spotify, YouTube, or listen on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you next time on the Flying Runner podcast. Happy running.
Happy running.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me. for you